Hello everyone. So I welcome you to this first session on eternal happiness, and today's session is entitled on discovering yourself. So in this session we would go through about who we actually are, what our actual duty is, and in whose accordance we should base our lives, we should base our decisions and base our activities. And finally we will go through what is the good side and the flip side of not following or acting according to some preset principles. So let's start. So the first thing which we should know about is what is our actual identity. And on this page you will see a lady brushing the cage of the bird, but the bird is dying inside due to lack of food or lack of water. So this looks comical because no one actually does so, but this is an analogy to show or to represent what as we all are doing in these days. So to start off with, we are not the external body. So this cage is just representing the body, and the thing which is inside, the living force that is within inside, is the soul. And we all are taking utmost care, and more than that what is required, taking care of the bodies, the external self, what is the image of the external body in front of the people, how it should look like, how best it should look like, how best we can put ourselves, our external bodies in front of the entire world. And but we don't even think about what is the actual living force that is taking this body from one day to another, from one activity to the another. So we don't think about that. So if we ponder about what activities we are doing throughout the days or throughout our lives, we will see that most of our activities are centered about taking care of the body. So it is good that it is actually required that we do take care of our bodies to a certain extent, but we shouldn't forget that the actual living force is not the body, and it is the soul that is within inside the body. So I will just quickly take you through few reasons as to why I am saying that we are souls and we are not the external body. So the first thing is a logical view of this particular fact, and the first thing I would like to say in this regard is, we being souls, and souls is something which is eternal. A soul doesn't die. So you can take it as an axiomatic truth that the souls never perish, and we being eternal, so whatever our desires are or whatever our needs are can be fulfilled through something which is of eternal nature. But in this material world everything is perishable, like whatever we see, whatever we hear, whatever we eat, so everything has a temporary effect, and that is why we are not satisfied with one thing. So for example, today I bought this thing, but the craze of that thing may last for only a month or so, or a year or so. Like I bought a new phone, and the craze of that phone lasted only a year, and then I thought that no, my phone has grown old, now I need to have something new. And similarly for everything else, the clothes we wear, the tastes we have about different cuisines, or the places we want to stay, or the places we want to visit, So nothing can give us a eternal happiness unless and until the source of it is eternal in nature. So that is why, had we been this external body which dies after some time, which after a certain period of time, had we been that external body, then we would have been satisfied with those temporary things. But we being the everlasting souls, so we are not satisfied with these temporary things, and hence we need eternal happiness. The next thing is, we generally say when someone dies, like, oh, that dear friend of mine is no more, or in Hindi we say, wo to chal base. So if we would have been those bodies, then these statements don't hold true, because that body is still lying there, but we are saying that person has gone, or that friend of mine has gone away. He has left for the spiritual abode or heavenly abodes. So we wouldn't have spoken like that if we would have been those bodies, because the body is still lying there. So definitely this gives some further proof that we are not a body, but we are something more than that. We are something which was inside the body but had left the body at the point of death. Then if we look at it as scientific view, then we will read about numerous articles about out of body experiences or near death experiences, where people are able to see. Like in out of body experiences, people tell about events where they have seen their own body from an outside view. I mean, they with their own eyes they have seen their body, okay, not with the help of a mirror or something. So it happens that sometimes people are in an operation theater and they have seen that their body is getting operated. So this kind of phenomenon is not possible unless we have a separate existence from the body itself. Similarly, people have near death experiences where they suggest that they saw that they were leaving their body at the point of death, but due to some divine intervention they again came back within the body and were able to tell these experiences. So there are scores of articles on these topics. Then there is something called as past life regression. This is a kind of hypnotism that is undertaken on human beings to get some more information about their past lives. So had they so these although these all these phenomena have been highly criticized, but the point is that had these things happening around in the world, that means that there is something, the life is something more beyond this one particular life which this body can offer. So in each of these cases, it clearly shows, or it clearly suggests that the living force is something more than the body. The life is something more than the life is something more than what the life is something more than what we can see, that is provided by the body. Then definitely we have a philosophical view where our ancient scriptures suggest that we are not the body but we are soul. And so there are various verses in Bhagavad Gita, like this opening verse, verse number 12 of chapter 2, where Lord Krishna is saying to Arjuna that there was never a time that we did not exist, and never nor there will be a time in the future we would cease to exist. So this again points out at the fact that although the body may perish after a certain point of time, but our existence isn't, because as Lord Krishna is saying to Arjuna that there was never a time when we did not exist, and then there would never be a time when we wouldn't have exist. Okay, and then in this next verse he says about how the body is perishable after some time, and I mean after at the end of the lifespan of the body, the soul has to leave the body, and someone who is intelligent shouldn't aggrieve when the soul loses his or her body and transmigrates to another body. So these verses were told to Arjuna because Arjuna was lamenting on the loss, or on the probable loss of his kith and kin as an effect of fighting the Mahabharata. Then Lord Krishna is further in the Bhagavad Gita is explaining that how, due to the karmas one is performing in one birth, he has to take a birth according to the results of those karmas. So these are the verses which are suggesting that there is life after death, there is and that life is dependent on what kind of actions we are performing, and hence it all suggests that we are a permanent entity, which I am calling it out as a soul, and we are not a body. And then we should think that that as we are souls, so what is our duty? Because we are doing everything for our bodies, we are doing everything, we are doing the best to keep the body well, to keep our persona well in front of the people, in front of a community, and we are doing everything for that. We are doing everything for for how the body can feel well, it can be well, although that needs to be done. But we should also not forget that we are temporary residents within this body, and hence I also need to take care of the soul. So the most important thing which we need to do is we have to act sincerely and not whimsically. Now the reason why I'm saying that I shouldn't act sincerely and not whimsically is that in this world, whatever we see or whatever we hear about which has an undesirable effect on us, so it may be some kind of a conflict on a global scale, or a community, or on a community scale, or whether we see there are upheavals in the environment, okay, or we see something like there is some outbreak of some disease as what is happening now. So all these undesired happenings are taking place because people in general are simply acting out of their greed. People in general are acting based on their whims and fancies just to fulfill their own desires, and all these is leading to a kind of uncomfortable situation on this planet. And this is because that we are not following any rules and regulations. We are following according to what we think is the best, and since everyone has a different perception, everyone has a different point of view, so everyone is thinking that he or she is acting the correct way. And because there is no single correct way, due to this kind of perception that everyone is correct, and that is why there is a conflict, because everyone is acting out for his or her own greed. And whenever there is a clash of greed, when there is a clash of ego, we are leading ourselves into all these kind of discomfortable situations. So you see, any war that has taken place on this earth is all because of those clashes of greed and nothing else. You see some kind of upheavals in this environment, like you see temperature rises in the form, we call it as a global warming, or we see there is mass scale pollution of our natural environment. So all this is happening because someone has some greed out of it and is simply trying to fulfill that, and due to this all of the all of these mishaps are happening. Now as I say that we are people in general are acting whimsically, and we need to get out of it. And how do we get out of it? Is when we are acting sincerely. So sincerely means we are following something in a very disciplined manner. And what should we follow? We should follow something which is transcendental to our human conceptions and human notions. So if something is transcendental to human conceptions and notions, that means that is something which has been sent down by a supreme force. Okay, and and what has been sent down in form of scriptures is also a kind of law book or guidebook, because in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is saying that he has sent out all the yagyas and he has sent out all the Vedas. So in all these codes and in all these books are the instructions of how we should lead our lives. In fact, all these books like Bhagavad Gita is itself a law book on how we should lead our lives. Similarly, there are other books which guide us, which guide the which guides the human to lead their lives in a proper manner, in a way which is in accordance with the Supreme Lord. And because Supreme Lord is also the father to all the living beings, so just like a father, even if he has 10 kids, he would be the well-wisher for all his kids. He won't be in a general situation, he won't be biased towards one kid or the other kid. He would try to love them equally in whatever capacity he can. Similarly, a Supreme Father is concerned about all the living beings, not only humans but also birds, beasts, plants, trees, everything which we see all around us. So he is concerned about every one of us, and hence whatever his instructions are in the form of his scriptures or in form of some messiahs which he sent across to the earth, they would only speak something which is beneficial for all the living beings, and not for someone specific, not for a specific race or not for a specific individual. And in this way his instructions would be beneficial for all, and if we follow those instructions, we would be leading a life that is meaningful and that is very pleasant for everyone. And these verses speak about how we should be. So this particular verse number 7 of chapter 8 Bhagavad Gita, it states that we should in this Lord Krishna was suggesting to Arjuna that you should do your prescribed duty, and as a Kshatriya he should fight, but his even when he's in his fight, he should always be surrendered to Lord. And this is also a generic instruction to all of us, that whatever activities we are performing, our activities should be performed in accordance with what Lord is saying. So maybe you may be a Sikh, or you may be a Christian, or you may be a Hindu. So in your religion, like for Christians, Jesus Christ is someone who is considered to be a son of the God. Similarly, for Sikhs it is Guru Granth Sahib, and then for Hindus there are many gods and goddesses. But what scripture suggests that within every community, Lord has sent out. Either Lord has appeared himself, or Lord has sent out someone, some of his very interested messengers. So just like Jesus Christ is called as Son of God. So we should follow the instructions which they provide with all of our hearts, with our total capacity, and we shouldn't try to distort those instructions. So for me, because I have access to these scriptures, what I have known and what is mentioned in all these scriptures is that Lord Krishna is the gods of all gods. So in this particular verse, Brahmaji is suggesting that Ishvara Paramakrishna. So he is the Ishvara Paramakrishna means he is the Lord of all lords. He is the topmost Lord, and that is Krishna. And Satchidananda Vigraha means he is the powerhouse of happiness, eternity, and knowledge. Then he says Anadir Adi Govinda means he is the beginning of all the beginnings. He is the cause of all causes, and that is Govinda. And he is Sarva Karana Karana means he is the reason for all the reasons. So as you see here, Lord Krishna, as Brahmaji is praying in this prayer called Brahma Samhita, he is praising that how Lord Krishna is the Lord of all lords. And here we see on the left, Lord Krishna is sitting in a very majestic pose, and with his very favorite devotee, which are the cows. Cows are very favorite to him, but also all the creatures are very dear to him. And the very name Krishna is actually it comes from the root called Krish. Krish is the root which you can find in other words like Akrisht. So Akrisht or Krish is means that one who attracts. So Krishna is the all attractive. So all the living beings are attracted to him. Not only animals like cows or peacocks or let's say swans and ducks, but also all the plants, all the trees, all the human beings. So everyone is attracted to Lord Krishna. So so some people may think, and it is very logical that why I am voicing only for Lord Krishna as the topmost Lord, and why not someone else. So the reason is, if we look into the scriptures, and as we can see that all these scriptures are actually pointing out to the fact that although there are various demigods and goddesses in our mythology, or in our scriptures, like as I said, Brahmaji is there, Shivji is there, then Mother Durga is there, Mother Kali is there, and there are 33 crores of demigods and goddesses. But the primary of them are of those demigods and goddesses are Brahmaji, Shivji, and along with Vishnu. Now, as I said that in Brahma Samhita, which is a composition by Brahmaji, in which he is glorifying Lord Krishna and his persona, his characters, his characteristics, his abode. So in these verses, if we go through this Brahma Samhita, and as we went through the first one on the last page, it clearly says that Lord Krishna is the Lord of all lords. And Brahmaji is saying, Brahmaji, who is the creator of this material universe, he himself is proclaiming that Lord Krishna is the Lord of all lords. Similarly, in Padma Puran, there is a story where Shivji was asked that what is the topmost form of worship, and Shivji being a very exalted personality. You can see he's called Maheshwar. He's much above than the other demigods and goddesses. And Shivji is saying that of all the forms of Vishnu, of all the forms of worship, the worship of Vishnu is the topmost. So he says, Sarvesham Aradhanam Vishnu Aradhanam Param. And then in Mahabharata also we can find a verse where it suggests that throughout all the Vedas and Puranas, we would find that, or the essence of all those scriptures is that worship of Lord Krishna or Vishnu, no, or the glories of Lord Krishna and Vishnu have been sung everywhere. So, whatever proofs we give, we should again be based on that should always be based on scripture. So, I wanted to give you some confirmations from scriptures. Then, if we turn to demigods and demigoddesses, I mean, if we worship demigods and goddesses, so they are. So the first thing is that um, they are also not transcendental, in terms that they are also not permanent. So there is a certain lifespan of this material universe, and within the lifespan of this material universe, they are existing. So if the lifespan of the universe is let's say 4 or 5 crore years, then their lifespan is also bound by that, or it may be even less than that. So and because they are they themselves are bound by this temporary feature, although it may appear very long to all of us because of our very short lifespan, but still they cannot give a permanent boon. So for example, in Srimad Bhagavatam there is a mention of someone by the name of Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was a very did some ardent yajna, some tapasya for years and years, but he was given then he went to Brahmaji. So his tapasya was aimed for Brahmaji, and Brahmaji and he asked to Brahmaji that I want a boon of being I want a boon of living throughout the age of the universe. I want my existence to be everlasting. So so then Brahmaji replied that sorry my dear son, even I am not I am also bound by the lifespan of this material universe. So how I can give you the boon of Amaratva? So even I cannot. So in this way, the boons which demigods can give are temporary in nature. Now the next thing is that the demigods can easily bestow our wishes. So, and because it's our wishes, and our wishes are generally selfish in nature, as we have seen, so these wishes can also be harmful to us. Okay, because as we will see a few slides after this, that whatever wish we are asking for, that is actually implicating ourselves into this material universe, and we actually don't know what is truly beneficial for us. So we see that human being is making great strides in science and technology, and although there are many good things about it, it is really helping us to make our life more easy, more comfortable, more advanced, but we are also seeing the flip side of it. So drawing parallel lines, that even in our wishes are something like that. We don't know we don't have the full view of what our actions are going to lead to, or what our wishes are going to lead to. And demigods being very easily satisfied, like Shivji is called Ashutosh because he is very pleased, and hence our wishes would be very easily gratified. I mean, we would be easily get access to what we have asked for, but it might not be helpful to us in the long run. And that is why we should be careful when we are praying to when we are praying to Lord all these demigods. So just give me a sec. I think I'm running out of battery. So, so they're saying that or wishes can have implications of karma. So again, a brief story, and the story is about Ravana. We all know that Ravana did great tapasya, uh, and he pleased Shivji, and he received as a result the city of gold, the Lanka, the Sri Lanka, and we know because of his greed and because of his lust and because of his envy, finally that and the reason why all this greed and lust grew up within him, because he was living in the city of gold, and gold is considered to gold is considered to harvest these kind of negative qualities within the one who holds it, and hence Ravana, we see in the long run that he perished with all his with all his compatriots. So that is why when we are worshipping demigods, we should be careful about what we are asking, because in general we ask for wealth, or we ask uh, for fortune, we ask for a good life, we ask for followers, and that is actually not helpful in the long run. So hence, and on the other hand, Lord Krishna doesn't gives these benefits just out of just because someone has asked for. He will only give whatever is actually the dire need of that individual, and hence and also we will quickly see what is why worship of Lord Krishna is so honored. So this is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, and it says that Aho Bakiyam Stanakalakutam. So this verse, in this verse is praise the glories of surrendering to Lord Krishna, and here in the first line it says that Aho Bakiyam Stanakalakutam. This refers to the story of where Putana came by smearing a poison. So this poison is named by the name of Kalakutam. So this is a very dangerous poison, and she came with the intention of killing Lord Krishna, the baby Krishna, and due to her envy, she wanted to kill him. So Jigham Saya Payad Api Asadvi. So out of envy and due to her unsaintly attitude, she wanted to kill him. But then it says Lebhe Gatim Dhatri Uchitam. So but when in the course of Putana feeding baby Krishna, Putana had a thought that, oh, if this boy could have been my son. So due to this one small very ephemeral desire of Putana, Lord Krishna granted her the status of a mother in the spiritual world. So that means that after liberating Putana, Putana was sent to the spiritual world, where she constantly acts as a mother to Lord Krishna. So lebhe gatim dhatri uchitam tato anyam kam va dayalum sharanam vrajema. So that means that who is more dayalu, I mean who is more benevolent, who is more merciful than someone who bestowed the status of a mother to someone who came to kill him. Okay, so who is more merciful, and why should why should I leave the shelter of someone who is so merciful? So that is what this verse speaks about. So this just gives us a glimpse of what how grateful the mercy of Lord Krishna is. So even if someone is acting or someone is acting in the with an inimical attitude towards him, even for that particular person, Lord Krishna is giving such a boon which we cannot even think of. So what to speak of if we act favorably, if we act in accordance to what he has spoken. So that is a highlighter of what is the mercy of Lord Krishna. And no doubt that in other communities, as I was saying, that Jesus Christ has come, Guru Granth Sahib is there, then then in different religion there are different, as I said, that God has appeared in different names and with different instructions, and we should follow them with with our whole with our all of our hearts. Now, because you all and we all are in have born into this great country named India, or this Bharat. So we should take advantage of these scriptures, which is giving us the light of someone, the light of this consciousness of Lord Krishna, and we should take that perspective, and we should make our lives blissful. So if Mother Putana can get the position of a mother in the spiritual universe, then if we act favorably, then we don't know what great our fortunes would be. So it is very important that we rekindle this relationship with our Supreme Father, with Lord Krishna. And in any relationship we see that there is a reciprocation, and with that reciprocation, that relationship grows. Similarly, in our relationship with Lord Krishna, we have there are many acts of service which we can perform, and we can rekindle that relationship. So Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati. So this means that we can please Krishna with very simple gifts. So if we don't have anything, we can give a leaf. If we have something, we can give a flower. We can give a fruit, and when we offer it with all our hearts, then Lord Krishna accepts it. And this is also very practical. If we are eating every day 3 or 4 meals, and if we can offer something which Lord likes to have, then this is very easy way, and it's a very practical way of service. Then we can engage our activities in service of the Lord. So that means that we all are into some kind of profession, and we earn something or the other, and we can donate a part of it, or we can use it we can use a part of it to spread this knowledge to others, so that just like our lives are getting benefited, someone else's lives also gets benefit. We can donate it to temple, we can donate it to we can attend to some lecture series, seminars, so and so on and so forth. We can in this way we will engage in the service of the Lord by what we earn. We are actually employing it in the service of the Lord. And then we can also engage our minds. So we can think of the instructions which Lord has given in Bhagavad Gita, or in any of the scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam, and we can absorb our minds in those in all those leelas of Lord Krishna, and in this way we can be benefited. And in this way we also, not only we are benefiting ourselves, we are also pleasing Lord, because Lord is thinking that this person, this living being is thinking about me, and in this way then Lord will also think about us, although he is always thinking, but then he will be more eager to think about us. And then also we can dovetail our propensity. So someone likes to read, someone likes to listen to music, someone likes to sing or dance. So all these propensities can again be dovetailed into what is we can dovetail for the Lord. So we may read, as I was saying, we can read some books of the Lord, or we can listen to some bhajans, or we can dance on those bhajans. So this way we can we can engage all our activities, our propensities, or all our faculties like mind, body, senses, everything. We can do it for the Lord. And finally, there is this chanting names of the Lord. And one thing is that the name of the Lord is non-different from the Lord. So, for example, this particular Mahamantra, which is flashing on your screen, is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, this Mahamantra is the prescribed means of getting in touch back with the Lord, and being this mantra is non different from the Lord, and when we are calling out to Him, then Lord will listen to us, just like a baby who is helpless in his or her possession, because he is not able to do anything on by his own, and he cries out for mother, and the mother knows that this baby cannot do anything for by himself or herself, and the baby needs me, and then the mother rushes to the baby. And this way, if we are calling out calling out of his names, calling out the names of the Lord, then he will also rush towards us. Okay. And then now people will think that my life is going on smoothly, why I need all these things. So one thing is that we are all in need of roti, kapda and makan. So that is the primary thoughts in our mind whenever we do something. That is the thought which keeps on buzzing in our minds. So definitely we always think of remunerations. So if we go back to scriptures again, then we will see that there are plenty of pastimes of Lord Krishna where the devotees, when in dire need, they went to Lord, and Lord had blessed them with fortunes. So one name that comes to all of our minds might be Sudama Vipra, who was in great need. He was actually poor Brahmana, but he had spent his childhood years with Lord Krishna, and once due to his dire needs, because of his he was poor, he went out to Krishna. And although Krishna was at that time the king of Dwarka, and seeing the magnanimous palace of Lord Krishna and his lifestyle, Sudama Vipra couldn't speak a word about his needs. But because Lord Krishna is in the hearts of all the living beings, he is everywhere, and that is why he knew that Sudama Vipra is in dire needs. And when Sudama Vipra went back, he saw that his small hut has been transformed into a big palace. That palace, and from that palace, a beautiful lady was coming out to greet him when he went back. But he couldn't recognize her at a first glance. But it was his wife, but who has been transformed by the mercy of Lord. So now she looks very beautiful, and she is wearing all the costly jewelry, and that's why Sudama Vipra was not able to recognize her. Similarly, he saw that in his palace, in his now palace, he sees all the comforts, all the riches, bountiful of foods and other resources. So in this way, we see that Lord Krishna protects the devotee who is surrendered to him. Then there is also a story of a lady, a fruit seller, who was very old, and she hardly used to make ends meet. But one day it so happened that she stopped by the residence of Nanda Baba, who is the father of Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna rushed to her, and due to Lord Krishna being so attractive in his childhood form, and and that lady was so mesmerized by his beauty that the lady offered all the fruits which she had, and Lord Krishna wanted to give her something back. So in his tiny palms, he went inside and brought back a handful of rice grains, and although the lady was so dumbstruck by seeing Lord Krishna and mesmerized by his beauty, she couldn't say anything. But when she went back with her basket, she saw that those rice grains have been transformed into jewels. So in this way, we see that whenever devotees have, when a Lord feels that the devotee has a need, then definitely Lord will fulfill his desires. But that is not the only thing, because I said that in this material world, all these riches and all these boons are these kind of boons are not that important. The important is that we can get out of this cycle of birth and death, and I will also speak briefly about it in the few coming slides. Then the other thing is that we are always concerned about the safety of ourself or our kith and kin, and we see that those who have taken shelter of the Lord, they have always been protected by the Lord. Although difficulties might come, but they will also go away. So just like if we see in the lives of Pandavas, there were many difficulties. Right from their childhood, they were always conspired upon by their cousins, Kauravas, but every time they were rescued by the mercy of Lord Krishna or his devotees. And especially in the battle of Mahabharata, we know that the Pandavas were heavily outnumbered, and on the Kaurava side there were great kings like or Maharathis like Bhim, Dronacharya, Kripacharya. So all these fighters were able to. So it is said that for Bhishma Dev, for not Bhishma Dev, it was very easy to finish off the battle in one day. But we see that Pandavas came out of the battle unscathed. So in this way, we see that whoever takes to the shelter of the Lord, he gets the protection. And finally is the liberation. So what comes to my mind is the tagline of LIC, जीवन के साथ भी जीवन के बाद भी. So this is something like that. So not only Lord Krishna is taking care of his devotees throughout their life, Lord Krishna is also assuring that after the material body perishes, he takes care of his devotees. So he says in Bhagavad Gita that Sarva dharma parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyam mokshayishyami ma sucha. So although so someone who takes shelter of him or shelter of his instructions, so he has guaranteed that he will take away all the sins of that particular soul, and he will grant liberation to that or take him back to his own abode, which is within the spiritual universe. And not only that, he says that even a little acts of service which you perform from Lord Krishna, you will be protected. By even by doing the small acts of service. So not only for devotees, he is also benevolent to the demons. So as we see that Putana, just by a thought that if she could have been a mother to a child like baby Krishna, simply by that one thought which she had in her entire lifespan. So we know that Putana was a demon, a she demon, and she used to kill small babies and used to feed on their blood, and but simply by that one thought which she had after having a look at Lord Krishna, baby Krishna, she was granted liberation. Not only liberation, she got the post of mother to Lord Krishna. So such a wonderful post she received. So not only for devotees, even demons get liberation. But of course, there are various kinds of liberation, and in general, the liberation which devotees get is more of a personal nature. I mean that in that form of liberation, one can interact with Lord Krishna, and he or she can serve Lord Krishna. and and if we see that we all are actually looking for some kind of relationships in all our lives, and we cannot live without um, having those relationships, or we cannot live without serving someone or the else. So if we see in all of our lives, you will see that we are serving someone or the other. We may be serving our parents, we may be serving our spouse, or we may be serving our nation or community. So in some way or other, we are in the want of service, but due to we are serving someone who has some their own ulterior motive, or maybe we have our inherent weaknesses, and hence our service is not perfect. So at times that service or that relationship turns sour. And even if it doesn't turn sour, and if you have a long relationship with someone, but eventually that will get terminated at the point of death, because the body has a temporary lifespan. But if we have a relationship with the Lord, then whatever our needs are in terms of what eternal what happiness we are seeking in all our temporary dealings, that would be fulfilled. Because as I was saying, that Lord Krishna is the source of all happiness, he is the source of all eternity, and he is the source of everything which we see. So if we can serve Lord, then that service will give us more than the happiness which we are looking for in our everyday lives. So not only these aspects, like we are getting something out of the service of Lord, more than that, it will give us the happiness which we are looking for. So it's not that we leave aside everything, and we are only uh, we leave aside all our duties, we leave aside our day-to-day activities, but we have to integrate the components of the service to the Lord in our lives. So that is what is required. And because all our activities are integrated, or are in accordance with the service of the Lord, then all our activities would become blissful, because there is a touch of the God in all those activities. And because God himself is the source of all happiness, he is the source of all blissfulness. So anything which is performed with regards to that, that becomes blissful. So just an example, that if we love someone with all our hearts in our lives, so whatever kind of service we do for that particular person, that is blissful for us. So it may be that we have to go out, we have to do our jobs, and at times that takes a heavy toll on our mental and physical well-being. But still, because we know that we are doing it for our loved ones, so but that brings us blissfulness. Similarly, if we do something for the Lord, and who himself is the source of all happiness, and all those acts of service will also give us blissfulness. Now there might be a notion that okay, this all is fine, but still my life is full of happiness, and I don't need to believe in all these things, and I don't need to carry out his instructions. मेरी लाइफ तो बहुत अच्छी है, तो मुझे ये सब की क्या ज़रूरत है. But going back again to the scriptures, the challenge is that as I was saying, that all our bodies are perishable in nature, and there are about 8 lakh 84 lakh species of living beings. So I beg your pardon for the figure which is flashing on your screen. So this is actually 84 lakhs, and these 84 lakhs contains birds, bees, plants, human beings. So so if we continue in this material universe, then based on our actions, based on our karmas, we have to go through these different different births. And as you all know that maybe it may be a bird, it may be a beast, it may be a human being, it may be a rich person, it may be a poor person. There would be pains of birth, there would be a pain associated with the death, there would be pain associated with disease, and similarly there is a pain associated with old age. So you cannot we cannot escape these pains in any of the life forms. So first of all, there is a pain of going through this again and again, and also we cannot escape these pains. And then finally, as we are progressing in this yuga, which is called as Kali Yuga, so we will see that things are going on the wrong side. That means that there would be more calamities, there would be more conflicts between peoples and communities and nations, and we will see that there is a gradual decline in the natural resources. We would see more upheavals, more earthquakes, floods, and all these things would progress. These things would increase as the Kali Yuga progresses, and all these are due to the collective karma of all the living beings, and also the nature of this particular yuga. And this is also very mentioned in detail in Canto 12 of Srimad Bhagavatam, and and due to all these reasons, we have to go through these difficulties, all these kinds of difficulties, and as lifetime progresses, these difficulties would become more and more unbearable, and hence it is very important that we take to the shelter of Lord. So maybe you take shelter of Jesus Christ, or maybe you take shelter of the God in your own in your religion, but here I would suggest that we take shelter of Lord Krishna, because he can take us across this material universe. So as Lord Krishna assured Arjuna that sarva dharma parityajam mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyam mokshayishyami ma sacha. So moksha, he can give us the moksha, he can give us the liberation. So if we can get the liberation and we can cut across these pains for once and for all, then I think we are intelligent enough that we would go for that option rather than staying in this material universe and going through these difficulties for again and again. So I am always referring to this material universe and spiritual universe. So what is this material universe? So on this in the screen you can see that there is this big orb, and at the bottom of orb and at the center of the orb you can see all these circles. So actually these circles represents the different planets which are there in the material universe, and in the center you see the Earth planet. If we go above, we will find the heavenly planets, and if we go below, then we see the hellish planets. At the bottom of the universe, we see Garbhatukashai Vishnu, on whom this material universe rests, and at the top we will see Brahmaji, who is the creator of the entire universe. Also, we would see that on the right side, top corner, we see Durga Devi. So because Mother Durga is called by that name because she is the owner of this fortress, and that is why her name is Durga, coming from the word Durg or fort. Also we see Shivji in the top left corner, and Shivji is actually is the Kailash, or the abode of Shivji, is somewhere between the material universe and the spiritual universe. And but there is another form of Shivji who is within this material universe. So this is how the material universe looks like, and based on our karma. So if we perform something good, like we open hospitals or we give some charity, so we will get some we will get to reside in the heavenly planets. And if we do something wrong, like we take someone's lives, or we took possession of someone's wealth illegally, then we have to go to the hellish planets. And but either we do good or we do good bad, we have to circle in this universe only, and through the 84 lakh species which I was mentioning about some time back. But if we do something which is which helps to rekindle or redevelop that relationship with the Lord, then we can we can get rid of this material universe, which is the cause of all pains and miseries, and we can go to the spiritual universe. So what is the spiritual universe? The spiritual universe is what you are seeing on your screen. So this is so in the entire space, 3/4 is the spiritual universe, which is which you can see, which is dazzling with an effulgence, and 1/4 is the one which is which is the material universe. And then you will see that the spiritual universe is has an effulgence and all these orbs represent the different planets within the spiritual universe, and the topmost planet is the one where Lord Krishna is there with all his devotees, with his cowherd friends, with his gopis, with his parents, with all the cows and peacocks and trees, and all his devotees are residing in this planet, which is encircled by the petals of the lotus flower. And this planet is full of bliss, and that means that there is no birth, there is no death, there is no old age, there is no disease, but it is full of blissfulness. So this is the spiritual universe where Lord Krishna will take us back if we have fully realized and developed our relationship with the Lord, and we don't have any hankerings, or we don't have any pleasures that we need to fulfill, or we don't have any more sense gratification for ourselves. And if we are fully focused on Lord Krishna, then he will surely take us back to the spiritual world. And finally, these are few glimpses of how this spiritual universe is. So Lord Krishna reciprocates with different devotees in different manners. So someone wants him to have him as his friend, someone wants to so on the right you can see he is busy playing with his cowherd friends. Then there are creatures who want to simply serve him in a shantaras. So the creatures like cows or birds or peacocks or plants, so these are who are serving Lord Krishna in something which is termed as shantaras. And then some devotees want to love Lord Krishna in the form of parents. So just as you can see here that Mother Yashoda is caring for Lord Krishna. So for different devotees there are different mellows which is available in the spiritual universe. So we have come to an end of this session. So what I would do is that I would take you through a series of these talks, and I would in the next few sessions I would elaborate on some topics which I had touched upon briefly in this session. And this is our journey. So there's a verse which says that we should have some faith, and this faith would help us to associate with all these saintly devotees and what they have spoken in these scriptures. So whatever I'm mentioning here is taken from scriptures, and I would end with giving credits to who is responsible for bringing out these timeless philosophy in form of books which are now readily available, and that person is no other than who is a founder of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And this is Srila Prabhupada, who and I wanted to give you brief highlights of what he had done. So at the age of 48, in the very difficult years of the 44 45, when the World War II was going on. And at that point of time he single-handedly brought out the magazine, which is still running on, and he single-handedly wrote the articles for that magazine. He published, he ensured that they were proofread, they were published, and they were distributed. So everything was done by uh, that one single person. And then from 1944 to 1965, he struggled and pursued to so that he can preach this philosophy to the people of India. And he tried out it in different cities, but due to circumstances and due to the will of Lord, he didn't meet with success. But still, due to even in his advanced age, he kept pursuing. And because it was his spiritual master's instruction that he should go out, because he himself, Srila Prabhupada, was a very learned, uh, and he was well versed in English, and thus his spiritual master wanted him to go to uh, go to the West and preach. And that is why, just to fulfill the instructions of his spiritual master, he went out to America at the age of 70. So at that particular age, we know that someone would have needed a support to move around even in his house. But at that age, he went. He dared to go to the United States, because that was the desire of his spiritual master. And also, a devotee tries to spread the message to as many people as possible. So that is the benevolence of a devotee, and for that he wants to take a lot of risks. And but the thing is that he was only when he went to America, he had possession of only 40 rupees. So that that couldn't have helped him even for an hour there. But due to the because he was such an exalted devotee,